Hello, investors. It's Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today's Monday, July 6th, 4:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Coming to you tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. A couple changes to the trend gauge. Took that red sub arrow off for market leader, so they are currently in neutral. Short terms back to a green with the Qs getting back above the 21 EMA, and the medium term and long term indexes remain above those moving averages. What happened today? Continue to see rotation, money flowing into other areas of the market, and just, and I did put money flowing out of AI names, and despite the AI 100 being up 2.73%, you know, charts still really didn't make that much progress today. They had that harsh sell off last week and really just coming back up into declining moving averages. And a lot of them had rather weak closes, specifically memory, Korea, and various other semiconductor names. So we'll see. Maybe they can build tomorrow, but a lot of upper wicks for some of these names. 21 list was up almost 2%, 16 green, 4 red. Turbo 12 was up 3.6, 9 green, 3 red. Mag 7 up 1.8, and that's an area that continues to act constructive. RG8 up 1.25. Revere AI 100 up 2.73. S&P 500 up 73 basis points. Equal weight flat. Q's up 1.43. Equal weight up 0.62. Dow Jones up about 0.5%. Mid caps up similar. Same Russell 2000, 60/40 stock and bond up 0.72, GROTECTION up 0.73, TurboTection up 1.5. Let's get into the inter-asset correlation and start with S&P 500, and looks good as long as it can hold above 7,500. You got the 821 and 50 back in alignment, stacking up. You could almost say this is kind of like a VCP contraction, first pullback, second pullback, handling out here on the right side. So looks good overall, really next level. These highs are going to be a spot, and then 76.20, previous all-time highs as well. I could see this chart going either way. So, or we could get a wedge drop here back below moving averages, but really bottom line is want to see it hold above the 8 and 21, 7,500, and see if this can get progress on a breakout or, get into this levels, hand out a little bit. But S&P's been acting better because it catches all the rotation. That's one of our core pillars on why we hold a core in the S&P 500. RSP, very tight inside day here at the highs, continues to lead, acting great. Q, same thing here, right? Building in this wedge and really just seeing what direction that it wants to take. You kind of got series of lower highs, and you also got a series of higher lows. So you got a pretty clear triangle pattern here. And for now, it's just going to see what way does this want to break. Mag 7 continues to show relative strength, remounting the 200-day moving average, and nice, had a 4-day push off the lows, tight rest day off the 200, and now taking out those highs today. Dow Jones, again, another area that's seeing minimal volatility, trending up to the right. Not a lot of AI names here, and that's what we're seeing the breadth broaden out. Mid caps inside day here at the highs looks fine. Maybe you could argue it's a little wedgy. Russ 2000, same thing here, inside day, holding above the 8. Looks good for now. ARC, with the strength in Tesla and some of the strength in crypto, this looks like maybe wants to kind of break out from this little flat base after many, many months of underperformance. VIX sub 16, despite S&P ATR back up to 1.48, but this below 16 is good. But then the flip side, you got to be cognizant when this gets down into that 15, sub 15 area. Sometimes that's when you get a bounce in the VIX and volatility. But as long as it's above 18, that's a good sign. Dollar continues to be in more of a bullish posture here, flagging after that big stage 1 base breakout. Gold rallying up into the declining 21. GDX, same thing here. Silver, Bitcoin, big UNR today, big relative strength, and seeing that across the board. So maybe money out of AI, money out of South Korean memory names, and gonna buy Bitcoin. And we took position in this one in TurboTection today, along with owning Hyperliquid, along with buying ETH today. Rates. And that is that. Let's get into the tale of the tape. Let's see. Pretty quiet week. Wednesday, we had the Fed minutes. SpaceX is joining the NASDAQ 100. And then watch out on Friday, SK Hynix is having its US ADR listing. And that's been, one of the big memory names in South Korea, driving the market on a huge run. So that's going to be interesting to see how that reacts. Day count up one, 5 days above the 8, 5 days above the 21. Keys, S&P holding above the 8 and 21. Qs holding above the 21 and 50. And then Russell above the 21, slightly below all-time highs. Sectors wise, Bitcoin, Ethereum, semiconductors, AI, software weakness, rare earth builders, space, retail, energy. GROTECTION today bought Datadog. That was it. 1.01 RVAB. Estimated balance at risk for stocks minus 0.73. Total minus 5.23%. TurboTection. We bought Reddit, Ethereum, and IBIT and added on to HOOD. 1.58 RVAB. Estimated balance at risk for stocks minus 4.27. Total minus 7.63%. Really, bottom line, the great rotation continues. Money flowing out of AI names, but it really is staying in the market and seeing it go into other areas like XBI, another new high on this one today. And just a beautiful, beautiful trend out of a long-term base. All right, let's take a look at the new leader list. Credo, holding up at the highs, but total choppy mess. Just tough thing to trade. Rivian added. Now this is on our radar. This is coming out of a really nice stage one base. And you see this in the chart theme right now. This looks very similar to the Robinhood chart, looks very similar to the Reddit chart. Lemonade's another one. So we're seeing some of these older leaders come back to life out of these stage one bases and emerging with recent RS. This one looks great here. Dell popped today, and this is what I mean by some of these upper wicks. Dell got a little bit of Trump pump today, said go buy Dell, and that shot up this morning and then kind of closed mid-range. Holding the 21, it rejected. You can see this trend line here that it tagged and rejected. So looks like to me this one just needs a little bit more time. Robinhood, we added onto this one in turbo. Kind of retested the top of this base, had an open equals low candle, and looks good, especially with the strength in crypto as well. This should benefit, and those Trump counts are coming live. That could be a potential end for Robinhood, but this chart looks good. Axon, another one of these stage base older leaders getting back above the 200-day moving average. So see how this one progresses. These are just coming up the right side of the base. So definitely do have time. Fortinet new highs today. One of the leaders in cybersecurity. GEV, one of the better looking bases out there right now. And this is just pausing at the highs today. And again, another example of one of the upper wicks that we're seeing today. This one just again looks like it needs a little bit more time. Maybe I'll handle out a little bit more. Maybe needs a shakeout. Reddit, same thing here. Chart theme, as you guys can see, and bought this one today, acted well, and then closed rather weak, dropped like $8 into the close, but trading this first the 200 day. So we'll see how it progresses. Net, another one that's just a choppy, choppy, choppy stock. Really 260 is kind of the key level. Those are those previous left side highs. And, this one doesn't reward you for buying it on strength. But with the strength in software and cyber and cloud, this one should be on your watch list. Intel, very tight inside candle here, rejecting the 8 and 21. You know, when I look at this chart, I just looks like it potentially needs some more time. Maybe this, pulls back, undercuts, we'll see, or, tries to break out. But right now, you're just in a big range. No really edge buying strength in a range. Better off buying weakness, undercuts, and try to be patient for that. Affirm recent relative strength as well. And I feel like I keep repeating myself, but this is another one with that chart theme. Old leader back above the 200-day moving average. So some of these are short-term extended, so worth a watch on a flag or digestion. APH, one of the better looking bases out there as well. Watch it for this left side high, but this is starting to flag out nicely. VLO, not many people are talking about energy, oil, and gas names, but this one's hanging out at the highs, looking good. Snowflake, doing well with software. Um, 250 is pretty key spot, and then 280. This is another one that's just building the right side in a huge multi-year base, so you do have time. GH, little bit short-term extended here, but strength in biotech and medical names. Airline, same thing here. Twilio, good. Moving averages are realigning and just kind of coming up the right side of this base. Airbnb, another big base, historically extremely choppy stock. See if that can change. Eli Lilly, really nice 4-day flag here at the highs. This one looks actionable through 1200. Today's high tomorrow. Datadog, GROTECTION bought a position here. We own a position in TurboTection. Nice bounce off the 8 EMA today. And then Bros just pulling back a little bit. 65 could be an area of interest along with the 21 EMA on this pullback. That is the 21 list. Let's take a look at Turbo 12. PENG, let's delete. Quite interested to see this name. They report earnings tomorrow after the bell. This has had an enormous run with a beautiful weekly base. First pullback to the 10-week moving average. Super constructive, and so going to be curious to see how this reacts on earnings today. BHYP, this is Hyperliquid. We bought this last week. This had a nice day with the strength in crypto up almost 9%. SIMO, one of the computer hardware names. This one's kind of looking like an ascending base to me. Very orderly price action. I would expect this one to lead if the AI name started to bounce. FCell, another one, very volatile, little lower price, but this has kind of been a sister stock to BE, and you can see where it pulled back to, right where you expect it or where you want it to hold, right off the 8 EMA and the top of the base. This one looks good, even, takes out today's high tomorrow, looks actionable. Okta, like 6 days up in a row into that left side high. Would prefer this to handle out a little bit. Frog, another software name, had that power 3 downtrend line break, and ever since that, it's been trending beautifully. Crowd poked its head above these 200 and then came back into the base and closed. Um, Not the best. MXL punched right at the 21E. We'll see. Everyone wanted it here, and then it's just gone no bid. A lot of the charts kind of look like that right now. XMTR, good action, consolidating. OUST could be another pullback entry into the 21 or the top of the base. And then BlackBerry building out kind of a high type flag. Oscar up the right side, looking great. All right, let's see. Let's talk about what we saw today. I mentioned biotech. This is where money continues to flow, potentially seeing signs that Bitcoin's coming back to life. You can see a lot of these charts have these undercut and rally setups. You get a better visual when you look at the spot chart on, TradingView or whatever. Can't get that on Market Surge. So we'll just work with the ETS for now, but a lot are putting in big undercut and rallies. Ethereum covered IBIT, and then right that B hype that we own looking to break out into new highs. That's a good sign for the space. And then healthcare, right, coming out of the big base. This is another area where pharmaceuticals, not too many people talking about this one. Very attractive looking base. Mag 7, right, covered this one. Look at Apple. Um, that flip phone could be the N, but this one's coming up the right side. Even Amazon looking decent, Microsoft working off the lows, and then Tesla trying to get back above the 200-day moving average as well. So that's a good sign. And obviously, this one's just been super frustrating, but kind of got a big downtrend line here from the highs. And when Tesla gets moving, as we know, it really likes to go. So that is that. And then, just look at some of the memory, what I wanted to highlight, right? Pretty weak bounce after harsh breaks and, DRAM. Take a look at SanDisk, pretty weak, although coming into the 50-day moving average. Micron, gapped up and then closed near the lows below 1,000, below the 8 and 21. STX continues to weaken. Western Digital as well. AOI, optics still really struggling to bounce. And then some of the semiconductors. AMD's shown great RS, but you got to be aware if this is a trap and this kind of breaks trend here. That's something to watch out for. Let's take a look at socks. Same thing here. It just, after the harsh break, came near 50, gap up, fade off the declining moving averages and supply. Like really the action in a lot of these AI names and semiconductors and memory is rather bearish today. We'll see how it progresses into tomorrow. Let's see some other ones, right? NVIDIA just kind of looks like a bear flag above the 200-day moving average. Not too convinced. BE extremely choppy, but this is one of the better looking names. Still carving out this base. NBIS weak as well, not getting that pop off the 50-day. And either these just need to chop around a little bit more, or you need a flush, or they're going to roar back tomorrow. Who knows? But really not convinced in the action in a lot of these names today. But as always, gonna have an open mind and take it day by day. Let's see. Wolf was another. Neoclouds have been awful. This had a big catalyst gap up, faded. At one point, it was up like 20% pre-market. One interesting name caught my eye. Sedge popped back up today. Kind of a base retest here. So see if this can come back to life. Let's take a look at the WGMI. Same thing here. Still looking like a potential double top, failed breakout of that base, but see how it acts if it gets into that 200-day moving average. So, all in all, pretty similar message is that market's been choppy, especially in a lot of the AI names, memory, semiconductors, money's flown other places. RSP's at the highs with minimal volatility. You got healthcare, you got biotech, you got crypto firming back up today. And so really kind of a stock pickers market right now. Oh, and cybersecurity and software have been acting awesome. RBRK, another one, coming up the right side, but really, crowd, Fortinet, Palo Alto, kind of your leaders in this space right now. So, um, oh, and then I did want to show Korea. Again, another good proxy for memory. Foul breakout here, harsh move lower, rather weak rally up into the declining 8 and 21. So we're going to see what happens here. The Kospi, SK Hynix, Samsung look like they're starting to crack a little bit as well, but we shall see what progresses into the rest of the week. So that is going to wrap it. As always, like to hear from you. My email is connor@revereasset.com. You can reach out to me on Twitter at ConnorJBates_. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client, as always, please reach out. Thank you guys for watching and have an awesome evening.